Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. There's a lot going on, and the stakes just keep getting higher. Yesterday, President Trump deployed 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles. Gavin Newsom is throwing a fit about it, and ICE protests have turned violent. Today is June 9th, which means Trump's travel ban for 12 countries will go into effect today. And over in China, their economy is circling the drain. Let's break it all down. Welcome to Nelly Miranda. Before we get into today's topics, please make sure you like and subscribe, as it really helps support the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. Now let's begin. So, on Sunday, President Trump ordered the mobilization of 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles, California. Why? To help secure federal buildings and support ICE operations following multiple days of violent immigration-related protests. According to the White House, the move was necessary to prevent further disruption and protect federal agents and infrastructure. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed that Marines are standing by and are ready to be deployed if things escalate any further. So, with this protest, what are protesters hoping to happen? Like, what is the desired outcome? I see signs that says to get ICE out of Los Angeles. Now, naturally, this has caused a meltdown in California. Governor Gavin Newsom immediately called the move illegal and dangerous, accusing Trump of overstepping state authority. He's demanding that the federal troops be withdrawn immediately.
Are you prepared to invoke the Insurrection Act?
Depends on whether or not there's an insurrection. No, but you have violent people, and we're not going to let them get away with it. I think that you're going to see some very strong law and order. Last night in Los Angeles, we watched it very closely. There was a lot of violence there. There was a lot of violence, and it could have gotten much worse.
But here's the problem. When local leaders refuse to enforce immigration laws, the federal government has to step in. Like, this is not just politics. That's constitutional responsibility. Newsom says that this is a manufactured crisis, but when thousands of people are blocking the streets, clashing with police, and destroying property, what exactly does he call that? Let's talk about what actually happened on the ground. So over the weekend, protests broke out across Paramount, Compton, and downtown LA, and they were not peaceful. We're talking about highways being blocked, property damaged, and physical altercations with federal agents. Now, at least one protester has been arrested, and several officers were injured. Trump responded by praising the National Guard for doing a good job. And Speaker Mike Johnson doubled down, saying it's about protecting the rule of law. Meanwhile, Gavin Newsom says he's suing the Trump administration for sending in help. Take a listen.
I have a feeling there's a pretty good chance that in the White House there might be a television on and he might be watching us
I hope so.
right now.
Yeah, he can learn something.
What might you say to him if I'll give you the floor, you have the opportunity, what you weren't able to say to him on that phone call or calls that he hasn't taken today?
Where's your decency, Mr. President? Stop. Rescind this order. It's illegal and unconstitutional. And I said it, I'll say it again, it's immoral. You're creating the conditions that you claim you're solving, and you're not. And you're putting real people's lives at risk. This is a serious moment, and it requires serious leadership. And it's time for you to be a commander-in-chief of the United States of America. And I will have your back if you want to work in a relationship of trust and truth in the spirit of our founding fathers. But you come after poor kids, you come after families, we will do everything in our power to stand up and stand in your way.
Let's be honest. There was a time when protests felt strategic, purposeful. They were about driving real change through peace, discipline, and powerful messaging. But today, too often, protests look like a direct challenge to the rule of law, not a call for justice. We see cities vandalized, businesses looted, communities torn apart, and for what? When streets are blocked, when stores are ransacked, when buildings are set on fire, everyone pays the price. What about the people who can't get to work because their street is barricaded? What about the small business owner who just had their livelihood destroyed? What about the parents who are too scared to leave their homes with their kids? This isn't civil disobedience. This is chaos. And you all know that your homegirl Kamala Harris has to chime in. She said, Los Angeles is my home, and like so many Americans, I am appalled at what we are witnessing on the streets of our city. Deploying the National Guard is a dangerous escalation meant to provoke chaos. In addition to the recent ICE raids in Southern California and across our nation, it is part of the Trump administration's cruel, calculated agenda to spread panic and division. This administration's actions are not about public safety. They're about stoking fear of a community demanding dignity and due process. Protest is a powerful tool, essential in the fight for justice. And as the LAPD mayor and governor have noted, demonstrations in defense of our immigrant neighbors have been overwhelmingly peaceful. I continue to support the millions of Americans who are standing up to protect our fundamental rights and freedoms. You see, my issue with this is saying that Trump is inciting the chaos, inciting the violence is deranged, because they're not even acknowledging the fact that these protests aren't actually peaceful. I don't have boots on the ground, but from the videos that I've seen, fires, throwing things at police cars, how is that peaceful? And instead of condemning the acts of violence, they're complaining that Trump sending in the National Guard is the issue. Ugh, I can't. When Dr. King led protests, they were rooted in order, moral conviction, and courage, not destruction. That's the kind of leadership that we need if we're going to take a stand for anything. Because right now, a lot of this doesn't look like standing up. It looks like tearing things down. Now, let's talk about why they're protesting. I get it. People want to come to America for opportunity, for safety, for a better life. That's fair. And in many cases, they're fleeing dangerous, unstable countries. That's real. But here's the thing. If you come here illegally, what exactly do you expect to happen? Let's play this out. If America became a wide open border country for the next 10 years, what do you think would happen? Millions of people from struggling nations would leave their homes, and many of those countries would lose entire populations. Now imagine 5 million people showing up here needing government help. Who's paying for that? Food stamps, housing, healthcare, childcare. Where's all this money coming from? The system would be overwhelmed. Our taxes would skyrocket. And that national deficit that everyone's worried about, it would explode. It's just not sustainable. It is not compassionate to bankrupt the country in the name of compassion. And it sure doesn't seem like a sound policy to let everyone pour into the U.S. illegally and expect no consequences. America is a nation of immigrants, but it's also a nation of laws. And while we are protesting immigration enforcement here at home, President Trump's new travel ban targeting 12 countries and restricting 7 others go into effect today. It doesn't revoke existing visas, but it dramatically tightens screenings for new visa applications. And the reason for that is because of the recent terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado, and ongoing concerns over visa overstays and screening gaps.
Recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them. In the 21st century, we've seen one terror attack after another carried out by foreign visa overstayers from dangerous places all over the world. And thanks to Biden's open door policies, today there are millions and millions of these illegals who should not be in our country. In my first term, my powerful travel restrictions were one of our most successful policies, and they were a key part of preventing major foreign terror attacks on American soil. We will not let what happened in Europe happen to America. That's why on my first day back in office, I directed the Secretary of State to perform a security review of high-risk regions and make recommendations for where restrictions should be imposed. Among the national security threats their analysis considered are the large-scale presence of terrorists, failure to cooperate on visa security, inability to verify travelers' identities, inadequate record-keeping of criminal histories, and persistently high rates of illegal visa overstays, and other things. Very simply, we cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States. That is why today I am signing a new executive order placing travel restrictions on countries including Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Libya, and numerous others.
Now, of course, the media is calling it xenophobic. Activist groups say it's racist. Oxfam called it divisive. And here's the reality. Border security is national security. This is not a new play. Trump did it in his first term, and now he's doing it again. What? Now, while President Trump is focused on protecting America's borders and tightening national security, over in China, they've got a very different problem on their hands. No, it's not immigration. It's a collapsing economy. Their consumer prices just fell for the fourth month in a row. Inflation is down. Factory prices are plummeting. And despite Beijing's stimulus packages to stimulate demand, it's not working. Consumer demand is collapsing.
In his annual work report to the National People's Congress, Chinese Premier Li Qiang emphasized the importance of boosting consumption to counter slowing growth and external pressures. While consumption was mentioned 31 times in the report, a significant increase from last year, the government's response remains limited. Despite the emphasis, economists are concerned that policies introduced such as minor increases in pensions and welfare benefits are insufficient to spur substantial demand. Additionally, China faces deflation risks, with the GDP deflator projected to remain negative for a third consecutive year in 2025. This signals a deeper struggle with falling prices, exacerbated by rising tariffs from the US and other trade partners. Analysts warn that this prolonged deflation could hinder recovery.
So, in short, China's economy is slowing, their stimulus efforts aren't working, and internal deflation is a growing crisis. And here's the takeaway. When governments try to artificially inflate the economy, it backfires. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think protests today are helping the cause or hurting it? And should the U.S. tighten immigration even more, or is Trump's travel ban already going too far? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you've gotten any value from this video, please make sure you like and subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.